Hi everyone. In today's lecture, we will learn about remainders, and after learning remainders, we will solve some interesting questions, right? So let us start learning about remainder, and we will solve few questions to learn about remainders in a better way, right? So if you read the question says a number when divided by 24 leaves a remainder of 17. What remainder will it give when divided by 8? The question is, if a number is divided by 24, we get a remainder of 17. Now you have to answer that what remainder will it give when it is divided by 8. So how do we approach this kind of questions? See, earlier in question it has been given that the number has been divided by 24, and now we have to divide the number by 8, right? So you can observe that 8 is a factor of 24. 8 is a factor of 24. So how can we answer this question correctly and quickly? Simple. You have to divide this remainder 17 by 8. And if you divide 17 by 8, what will be the remainder? The remainder will be 1. See, you can 8 into 2 is 16, so 1. So why we are able to find the remainder? Why we are able to find the remainder when the number is divided by 8, but we are directly dividing 17 by 8 and we are getting remainder 1, and we are saying that if the number is divided by 8, we will get remainder, that is 1. So let us take a simple example, that if the number has been divided by 24 and it has left a remainder of 17. So if I say that if you divide 17 by 24, what will you get as remainder? You will get 17. If you divide 41 by 24, what will you get remainder? You will get remainder as 17, right? If you divide 24 into 2 is 48 plus 17, that is 65. If you divide 65 by 24, you will get remainder as 70. See, we have already found the answer that the remainder is 1 if the number is divided by 8, but we are cross verifying it. We are just trying to show you that why we are saying that yeah, the remainder is 1 if the number is divided by 8. Simple. Okay, you can divide 17 by 8 and you have got remainder, that is 1. You can even divide 41 by 8 and you will get remainder as 1. You can even divide 65 by 8 and you will get remainder, that is equal to 1, right? So whenever you get this kind of question that a number when divided by 24 leaves a remainder of 17, what remainder will it give when it divided by 8? You just have to observe, you just have to notice that this 8 is a factor of 24. Means we can directly divide remainder 17 by 8, and if we get remainder 1 will be the answer, right? Okay, we will solve few more questions, then only you will be able to retain this concept for forever, right? Okay, now we will solve this question when it is divided by 12. Okay, and what was the answer? When it is divided by 8, then we got remainder, that is 1. And how did we find it? We divided 17 by 8 and remainder was 1. Now we have to answer that if we divide this number by 12, if we divide this number by 12, what will be your remainder? What will be your remainder? See, if you divide that number by 24, you have got remainder as 17. Now you have to answer what remainder will it give when it divided by 12. Simple again. This 12 is a factor of 24. This 12 is a factor of 24. Means again, what can you do? You can simply divide this 17 by 12. You can simply divide this 17 by 12, and if you divide 17 by 12, simple, 12 into 1 and remainder is 5. So if you divide 17 by 12, you will get remainder, that is equal to 5. That is equal to 5, right? So what will be your answer? The answer will be the remainder is 5 if you divide that number by 12. If you divide that number by 12, right? Okay, now we will solve this question for when the number is divided by 16, when the number is divided by 9, when the number is divided by 3, and the number is divided by 4. Obviously, we are solving this question for 6 numbers, right? Okay, let us solve for when the number has been divided by 16. What was the answer? The answer was when you divide this number by 8, you get remainder that is equal to 1, right? When you divide this number by 12, you get remainder that is equal to 5. Now you have to answer that a number when divided by 24 leaves a remainder of 17. What remainder will it give when it is divided by 16? When it is divided by 16. Now tell me that is 16 a factor of 24? No, 16 is not a factor of 24. 16 is not a factor of 24. So in this case, you are not gonna get a single remainder. So you can't answer that what will be the remainder when you divide that number by 16. You can take a simple example that if you divide 17 by 20, if you divide 17 by 24, then you get remainder that is 17. So obviously we have assumed that that number is 17. When you divide 41 by 24, you get remainder is 17. When you divide 65 by 24, again you get remainder that is 17. Okay, means the possible values of this number are 17, 41 and 65. This number can be any number. This number can be any number, right? Okay, let us check it for 16. If you divide 17 by 16, you will get remainder that is equal to 1. If you divide 41 by 16, what will you get remainder? The remainder is equal to 9. If you divide 65 by 16, you get remainder that is equal to 1. So are you getting a constant remainder if you divide this number by 16? No, you are not getting. No, you are not getting. So it means that you can't answer that when you divide this number by 16, what will be the remainder? And why we are not able to answer? The reason is simple. That see, 16 is not a factor of 24. 16 is not a factor of 24. What does it mean? That you can't answer that what will be the remainder when you divide that number by 16. So obviously in option C you can't answer. When dealing with number 16, you can't answer that what will be the remainder. Okay, let us solve it for D when the number is 9. When the number is 9. Okay, so tell me that is 9 a factor of 24? No, 9 is not a factor of 24. And if 9 is not a factor of 24, means you can't answer that what will be the remainder, right? So again, you can't answer what will be the remainder. Now let us look at E, that is 3. When you divide this number by 3, means now the question is a number when divided by 24 leaves a remainder of 17. What remainder will it give when you divide it by 3? When you divide it by 3, see, this 3 is a factor of 24. This 3 is a factor of 24, right? It means you can answer. So if this 3 is a factor of 24, means you simply have to divide 17, this 17 by this 3, and what will be the remainder? The remainder will be equal to 2. What does it mean? It means that you can answer that if you divide that number by 3, you will get remainder that is equal to 2, right? Now let us deal for 4. Means you have to answer that when you divide this number by 4, what will be the remainder? Okay, again let us check, is 4 a factor of 24? Yeah, 4 is a factor of 24. 4 is a factor of 24, means simply again if 4 is a factor of 24, you can directly divide you can directly divide this 17 by 4 and the remainder will be equal to 1. So you can answer the remainder is 1, right? So I will summarize that what we have learned for now, right? Now let us read the line. If we know the remainder of a number n when divided by a, read the line carefully. If we know the remainder of a number n when divided by a, we can find the remainder when n is divided by b, as long as b is a factor of a. As long as b is a factor of a. What does it mean? That's it. Now correlate this question with this given statement. Simple. See, you know that if a number is divided by 24, it gives you a remainder of 17. Now you can answer for all of those numbers. Suppose if you divide this number by those numbers which are factor of 24, which are factors of 24, you can answer. But if the number is not a factor of 24, you can't answer that what will be the remainder. Now I will solve this question quickly, such that even if you have any kind of doubt, even if you are not able to understand it for now, you should be able to answer. Let us look at 8. When you divide this number by 8, yeah, this number 8 is a factor of 24. This number 8 is a factor of 24, means you can answer that what will be the remainder when you divide this number by 8. Simply again, how will you answer? You will divide this 17, you will divide this 17 by this 8, you will get remainder, that is 1. Yeah, we have written remainder is 1. Now if you look at 12, that what will be the remainder when this number is divided by 12? Simply 12 is also a factor of 24, means you can directly divide 17 by 12 and the remainder will be equal to 5. So we have written that remainder will be equal to 5 when you divide this number by 12. Now let us look at when this number is divided by 16. See, 16 is not a factor of 24. 16 is not a factor of 24, means you can't answer that what will be the remainder when you divide the number by 16. Now let us look at for 9. Again 9 is not a factor of 24. So you can't answer that what will be the remainder when you divide that given number by 9. Now let us look at 3. That what will be the remainder when you divide the number by 3. So again this 3 is a factor of 24. If this 3 is a factor of 24, means the meaning is simple, that you can directly divide this 17 by 3 and the remainder is 2. So the remainder is 2. Now let us look at 4. See, 4 is also a factor of 24. 4 is also a factor of 24, right? And if 4 is a factor of 24, what does it mean? That you can directly divide this 17 by 4 and you will get remainder, that is 1. So you can say that the remainder is 1. The remainder is 1, right? So see, I have given you this kind of examples that the possible values of this number are 17, 41, 65, and you can similarly find a number of possible values for this number, but you don't have to get confused with that thing, right? What you just have to learn the simple approach. If the number is a factor of this number, means you can answer. If the number is not a factor, means you can't answer. If the number is a factor, you can simply divide this remainder by the given number, and whatever is the remainder, that will be the remainder. Now the question is, what will be the remainder when 18 plus 30 plus 55 is divided by 13? Suppose if you get this kind of simple question, one way is to add all the numbers, right? 18 plus 30 is how much? 18 plus 30 is 48. 18 plus 30 is 48, and 48 plus 55. 48 plus 55 is what? 48 plus 55 is equal to 103, right? And you can answer that if you divide 103 by 13, if you divide 103 by 13, so 13 into 7 is 91 and the remainder is 12. But why we are able to solve? The reason is simple, that you are getting simple numbers and you are able to add all of these numbers quickly. So what is the remainder? The remainder is 12. But wait, we have to learn one approach for now, right? Read the line. The remainder of the sum of two numbers a and b, okay, here we have only written 2 numbers, but yeah, this statement is applicable for even for more than 2 numbers, right? When divided by n is equivalent to the sum of their individual remainders when divided by n. Okay, we will now apply this theory, apply this statement to solve this question, right? So let us look at 18. If you divide 18 by 13, if you divide 18 by 13, what will be the remainder? If you divide 18 by 13, the remainder will be equal to 5. The remainder will be equal to 5. If you divide 30 by 13, if you divide 30 by 13, what will be the remainder? The remainder will be equal to 4. The remainder will be equal to 4. If you divide 55 by 13, if you divide 55 by 13, what will be the remainder? 13 into 4 is 52. So the remainder is how much? The remainder is 3. Now, if you add all of these numbers, you will get 12. So tell me, what will be the remainder? What will be the remainder when you divide this 12 by 13? See, you have to divide this number by 13. So now you have to divide this 12 by 13. So obvious that if you divide 12 by 13, the remainder will be equal to 12, right? The remainder will be equal to 12. Now tell me that, see, we are able to apply this theory to solve this question, right? Obviously the numbers are relatively smaller numbers, that's why you can directly add in, you can answer. But see, you have to learn one approach, that when the numbers are given in some kind of addition, you can find individual remainders and you can add that number, and then you can see 12 is a very small number, right? Now you can directly think that if 12 is divided by 13, what will be the remainder? The remainder will be equal to 12, right? Now we will solve this question. The question is, what will be the remainder when 18 into 30 into 55 is divided by 13? What will be the simple approach? Suppose if I ask this question to a student who is studying in a school, right? What will he do? He will simply multiply these 3 numbers, then he will divide that product by 13, then he will answer that, okay, the remainder is this much if we divide 18 into 30 into 55 by 13. But what should be our approach to deal with this kind of questions? Again, the approach is very simple. Simply, you have to divide 18 by 13. We have already divided 18 by 13 and we have found that you get remainder that is equal to 5. You get remainder that is equal to 5. So obviously this is 5, right? Now you have to divide. See, the signs are in multiplication form, that's why we have written it here, multiplication. And even you can read the theory, the remainder of the product of 2 numbers a and b when divided by n is equivalent to the product of their individual remainders when divided by n. See, we are dividing each numbers individually, right? And we will multiply the individual remainders, then we will solve the question, right? So simple, you have to divide 30 by 13. So 13 into 26 is how much? Is equal to 4. So 5 into 4. Then 55. So simple, again you have to divide 55 by 13. So 13 into 4 is 52. So the remainder is equal to 3. So the remainder is equal to what? 3. So now look at the product. 5 into 4 into 3. 5 into 4 is 20. 20 into 3 is what? 60. 20 into 3 is equal to 60, right? Now can we divide 60 by 13? Suppose if you multiply all of these 3 numbers, you will have to multiply a lot, right? Okay, you are good at multiplication, you are good at calculation, you can find the multiplication quickly. Why? The numbers are relatively simple, 18 into 30 into 55, but we shouldn't use that approach, right? We will have to be some kind of a smarter. So 5 into 4 into 3 is 60. So simple, you have to divide 60 by 13. Okay, if you divide 60 by 13, tell me what will be the remainder? The remainder will be equal to 13 into 4 is 52 and the remainder will be equal to 8. The remainder will be equal to 8, right? So obviously, what is the remainder? The remainder is equal to 8. So what is the correct answer? The correct answer is 8. what will be the remainder when 18 into 30 into 55 is divided by 13? Suppose if I increase, if I add 4 into 42 into 37, again you will find the individual remainders, then you will multiply, right? And then you will deal with this smaller number. We can easily find the remainder when 60 is divided by 13, right? Hopefully all of you are able to understand. Okay, now we will solve this question. The question says, what will be the remainder when 18 into 30 into 55 into 80 plus 30 into 30 plus 55 is divided by 13? How do we solve this question? Again, the approach is very simple. See, if you divide 18 by 13, what do you get as remainder? See, now try to answer without using int. If you divide 18 by 13, you will get remainder as 5, right? So simple, 5. Now if you divide 30 by 13, what will you get remainder? 4. 13 into 2 is 26. 30 minus 26 is 4. So 5 into 4, right? Now if you divide 55 by 13, so 13 into 4 is 52, right? So the remainder will be equal to 3. Now if you divide 18 by 13, you get 5. If you divide 30 by 13, see, 30 by 13, so again that is equal to 4. Now the multiplication sign. If you divide 30 by 13, what do you get? Simple, 4. If you divide 55 by 13, what do you get? Again 4 plus 3, right? 4 plus 3. Now tell me, see, okay, if you are good at calculation, you can say me that why I should learn this approach. I can simply multiply, add these numbers and multiply. No, you will waste your time if you follow that approach, right? So obviously 5 into 4 into 3 is what? 5 into 4 into 3 is 60. 5 into 4 is 20. 20 into 3 is 60. Means 60 into, now 5 plus 4 is what? 5 plus 4 is simple 9. 5 plus 4 is 9. And what is 4 plus 3? 4 plus 3 is 7. 4 plus 3 is 7. Can we write it as 60 into 63? Yeah, you can write it as 60 into 63. Now what we will do? Simple. We will divide 60 by 13. See, we have to answer the remainder when this given number is divided by 13. So again you have to divide 60 by 13. So 13 into 4 is equal to 52. So obviously you will get remainder as 8. Now let us find the remainder when you divide 63 by 13. So 13 into 4 is what? Again 11, right? So 8 into 11. Now tell me, what is 8 into 11? 8 into 11 is 88, right? See, you can say that, okay, you can multiply 60 into 63 and you can answer. Why? Because this multiplication is relatively simpler, but by to do that thing, right? So 8 into 11 is what? 8 into 11 is 88. So can we find the remainder when 88 is divided by 13? Yeah, we can find the remainder, right? We can find the remainder. So 13 into 88. So 13 into 6 is equal to 78. So what will be the remainder? The remainder will be equal to 10. So what is the answer? The answer is 10. So what will be the remainder when 18 into 30 into 55 into 18 plus 30 into 30 plus 55 is divided by 13? The answer is 10, right? So hopefully all of you are able to understand that how do we approach this kind of questions, right? Now we will solve few interesting questions. Now let us try this question that has been asked in CSAT 2019, right? If you read the question says Sita and Gita go for a swim after a gap of every 2 days and every 3 days respectively. Every 2 days after a gap of every 2 days is for Sita, right? And after a gap of every 3 days is for Gita. Simple. Why we are able to understand that thing? Look at the word respectively, right? If on 1st January both of them went for a swim together, when will they go together, right? This question has been asked in CSAT 2019. See, even if someone doesn't know the concept of number system, the concept of HCF and LCM, right, that candidate should be able to solve this question. See, it has been given that both of them go for a swim together on 1st January, right? This is Sita and this is our Rita. So on 1st January they have went together. Now we know that Sita go after a gap of every 2 days. Means if Sita went for swimming on 1st January, she will take the gap of 2 days. Then she will go for swimming. Means Sita will not go on 2nd January. Sita will not go on 3rd January, right? Means Sita will go on 4th January. 4th January, right? Now, if Sita is taking the gap of 2 days, means Sita will not go on 5th and 6th. Means Sita will go on 7th. Then Sita will go on 10th. See, now you can find a pattern. 1st, 4th, 7th, 10th, then obviously 13th, and in similar way. Okay, let us think for Gita now. Gita takes a gap of 3 days. Gita takes a gap of 3 days. Read the question carefully. Sometimes in rush, what do? We think that okay, 1st January, then 3rd January, then 5th January, then 7th January, then 9th January. No. If you say that Sita went for swimming on 1st and 3rd, so basically there is a gap of 1 day. If you say 1st and 3rd, but in question it has been clearly mentioned after a gap of every 2 days, right? But aspirants do this kind of silly mistakes while dealing with this kind of questions, right? So Gita, if Gita went for swimming on 1st January and taking a gap of 3 days, means Gita will not go on 2nd, 3rd, 4th, means Gita will go on 5th January, right? Then Gita will go on 9th, then Gita will go on 13th, then Gita will go on 17th, and so on. Now read the question. The question asks that when will they go together next? See, on 1st January they went together. Then okay, Sita goes on 4th January, but Sita on 5th, 7th, but Gita is on 9th, 10th. Okay, see, both of them went for swimming on, both of them will go for swimming on 13th January together. See, after 1st January they will go on 13th January together. If Gita goes on 5th, Sita does not go on 5th. If Sita goes on 9th, Sita does not go on 9th. If Sita goes on 4th, Gita does not go on 4th. If Sita goes on 7th, Gita does not go on 7th. If Sita goes on 10th January, means simple that Gita does not go on 10th January, right? Sita does not go on 10th January. So what will be the correct answer? The correct answer will be 13th January, that is present in option D. As I have told you always that CSAT has asked easy and medium level questions. You just have to identify those easy and medium level questions, and you have to invest all of the time that you get in CSAT paper on those easy and medium level questions. You should have the ability to identify difficult questions, and you should have the guts to skip those difficult questions within seconds. Just after reading the question, you should be able to think that no, this is a difficult question, I can't solve this question, right? Okay, so when your goal is to crack the CSAT exam, and if you are struggling in CSAT paper, right, why to deal with difficult questions, right? If you focus on easy and medium level questions, trust me, you can easily crack UPSC CSAT. But yeah, to identify easy and medium level questions, to avoid silly mistakes in easy and medium level questions, you will have to practice a number of questions, right? Hopefully all of you are able to understand that how can we approach this kind of questions by using basic level of aptitude, right? Now let us solve this question. We have solved so many questions related to find the least 4-digit number, right? Find the least number greater than 1000. We have solved so many questions, and I have already told you that you can use options to deal with this kind of questions. If you get this kind of questions in CSAT, you should be happy that now I can use options, now I can answer the question. But yeah, you have to avoid silly mistakes, right? So you have to answer, find the largest 4-digit number which when divided by 12, 18, 21 and 24 leaves a remainder of sets in each case. Sets in each case, right? One way is to check each option. One way is to check each option. There are good chances that you will only get one option where you will find that if you divide that number by 12, you will get remainder 6. If you divide that number by 18, you will get the remainder as 6. If you divide that number by 21, you will get remainder as 6. If you divide that number by 24, you will get remainder as 6. But suppose if you got two options, suppose if they tweak the options, that no, let us make two options where if you divide that number by 12, 18 and 21 and 24, you should get remainder 6. In that case, you have to look at this word carefully. See, in this case you have to find the largest. Suppose if you get two options where if you get two numbers out of these four numbers, and if those two numbers satisfy this condition, you have to pick the largest one. But there are very less chances that you will get two options, and there is very less chances that two options will satisfy the condition. But okay, let us learn about the basic approach. If it has said that you have to find the largest 4-digit number, and if you divide that number by 12, 18, 21 and 24, you should get a remainder of 6 in each case. So what we will do, see, sometimes in a hurry when we read largest, we start thinking about HCF. But no, see, that number should be, suppose if I subtract 6 from that number, suppose this is a number, suppose x is a number, suppose x is a number. If you divide x by 12, you are getting 6. If you divide x by 18, you are getting 6. If you divide x by 21, you are getting 6. If you divide x by 24, you are getting 6. So basically, if I subtract 6 from that number, or sorry, if I add 6 in that number, you will get that number. But don't get confused by this approach. Let us solve this question using simple way. So simply we will have to find LCM of 12, 18, 21 and 24. So simply 3 into 4, 3 into 6, 3 into 7 and 3 into 8. 3 into 4, 3 into 6, 3 into 7, 3 into 8, right? We can apply 2 into 2, 2 into 3, 7, then 4. Simply 2 into 1, 3, 7, 2. So what is the LCM? The LCM is equal to 3 into 2 into 2 into 3 into 7 into 2, right? 3 into 2 is 6. 6 into 2 is 12. 12 into 3 is 36. 36 into 2 is 72. And 72 into 7 is equal to 504. So what is the LCM? LCM of 12, 18, 21 and 24 is equal to 504. See, you can find the LCM in any way, whichever way you are comfortable, but the LCM of these numbers is not gonna change. You will always get the LCM of these numbers as equal to 504, right? Now If you divide 504 by 12, you will get remainder 0. If you divide 504 by 18, you will get remainder 0. If you divide 504 by 21, you will get remainder 0. If you divide 504 by 24, you will get remainder 0. Why? Because 504 is the multiple of these numbers and 504 is the least common multiple of these numbers. That is the full form of LCM, right? But if I add plus 6 in this number, now if you divide 510 by these numbers, 510 by these numbers, you will get remainder as 6. You will get remainder as 6. But wait, we have to answer largest 4-digit number. So how we will find the largest 4-digit number? There is a simple way to find the largest 4-digit number. See, means we can say that this number is of the form of 504k plus 6. We have also learned about writing this number in yesterday's lecture, right? And what is the largest 4-digit number? Largest 4-digit number is 9999, right? Let us divide it by 504. If you divide it by 504, so basically 504, 9 minus 4 is 5, 9495, then obviously 9. Okay, let us multiply 504 and 9. So what we will get? 4 into 9 is 36 and 5 into 4 is 55. 5 into 4 is what? 55. So 9 minus 6 is 3, 5 minus 3 is 2, 9 minus 5 is 4. 9 minus 4 is simple what? 4, right? And 4 minus 4 is 0. So 4, 2, 3 means if you subtract 4, 2, 3 from this number, you will get 9 minus 3 as 6, 9 minus 2 as 7, 9 minus 4 is 5, and obviously 9. So basically 956. What is 956? 9576 is 504 into 19. 504 into 19, right? So 504 into 19 plus 6. And what is the value of 504 into 19? That is equal to 9576 plus 6, that is equal to 9582, and option A is correct. But suppose I have seen that even after learning this kind of questions a number of times, many aspirants struggle with this kind of questions. Why? Because they are not able to understand the approach, right? But our goal is to answer the question correctly, right? That is our ultimate goal, right? So how can you find the answer? Suppose if you don't want to learn all of these things, I have told you in yesterday's lecture that let us start dealing with options. If you divide 9582 by 12, you will get remainder 6. If you divide 9582 by 18, you will get remainder as 6. If you divide 9582 by 21, you will get remainder 6. If you divide 9582 by 24, you will get remainder 6. You will get remainder 6, right? And obviously you can check for other options. I can say that you are not gonna get this condition satisfied in this number, not even in this number, right? And you should also check for 9423, right? Suppose there are high chances that this number will also not satisfy that condition, but if it satisfies in any way, right? But if it is satisfied, no, it will not satisfy. 504 into 9, right? So obviously B, C and D will not satisfy. But suppose if more than one number, if you get two numbers that satisfy the given condition, then you will have to look at this word. If you have to pick the largest, you will have to pick the largest from those numbers. If more than one number satisfies the condition, if you have to pick the smallest least in that condition, and if more than one number, more than one option satisfies the condition, then you will have to pick the least value, right? So hopefully you have understood that how can we approach this kind of questions. The simplest way is, if you don't want to hustle by this kind of approach, just use options, and you can expect that there are good chances that you can get one question in CSAT in next year, right? Now we will solve this question. The question is, the HCF and LCM of two numbers are 75 and 920 respectively. If one of the numbers is 600, find the other number. Try to think that how can we solve this kind of questions. One simple way is that whenever we get this kind of questions, and we have learned that what is the property for two numbers? HCF into LCM is equal to first number into second number. But wait, sometimes you can't use that formula directly. Why we can't use? The reason is simple. The reason is simple that LCM of two numbers, LCM, note it in your diary, LCM of two numbers is always a multiple of HCF of those two numbers. Those two numbers. So basically what? Basically this 920 should be a multiple of 75. This 920, when we say that LCM of two numbers is always a multiple of HCF of those two numbers, right? So what is HCF? HCF is 75. What is LCM? LCM is 920. LCM is 920. So basically, when dealing with this kind of question, suppose if you get options like none of the above, or if you get data inconsistent, sometimes they write in A option that the data is an option that data is inconsistent. In that case, if you get none of the above, or if you see data is inconsistent, in that case you will have to check for this property. So now we will check that is 920 a multiple of 75. Okay, let us check that if 920 is a multiple of 75, if I say that 20 is a multiple of 5, means 20 is divisible by 5. If I say that 88 is a multiple of 11, means 88 is divisible by 11. If I say that 132 is a multiple of 12, means 132 is divisible by 12. So basically we are saying that 920 should be divisible by 75. So 75 into 1, then 170. 75 into 2 is 150. See, 920 is not a multiple of 75. 920 is not a multiple of 75. What does it mean? It means that you can't apply that property, HCF into LCM equal to first number into second number, right? Means you will have to mark option none of the above as your answer. Or suppose if you get options like data inconsistent or data is inconsistent, in that case obviously you will get one of these two options. Either you will get none of the above or you will get data is inconsistent. In that case you will have to mark data is inconsistent, right? You can't apply that property HCF into LCM equal to first number into second number, right? And note this property in your diary that LCM of two numbers is always a multiple of HCF of those two numbers, right? Now let us solve this question. The question says Joseph visits the club on every 5th day. Harsh visits on every 24th day, while Sumit visits on every 9th day. If all three of them meet at the club on a Sunday, then on which day will all three of them meet again? See, to solve this question correctly, you must have some kind of knowledge of calendar, right? Few of you have definitely learned calendar while learning the chapters of logical reasoning. But yeah, but to solve this question correctly, you need some basic knowledge of calendar, right? Okay, obviously we will learn about that basic knowledge of calendar while dealing with this question, right? So Joseph visits the club on every 5th day, right? Harsh visits on 24th day and Sumit visits on 9th day. So when suppose then the question is, after how many days they will meet again in the club? After how many? Now try to recall that question related to bell. When will the bells ring together? Means basically we have to find the LCM of 5, 24 and 99. Sorry, 9. 5, 24 and 9. So let us find the LCM of 5, 24 and 9. So simple, 3, 5, 8, 3. Right? So what is the LCM? LCM is 3 into 5 into 8 into 3. 3 into 5 is what? 3 into 5 is 15. 15 into 8 is what? 120. 120 into 3 is what? 360. 360. So basically they will meet after 360 days. They will meet after 360 days. But if you read the question carefully, they have not asked you that after how many days they will meet again in that club. They have asked you that what will be that day when three of them meet again. So again you can notice the question is related to some basic concepts of LCM and some basic concept of calendar, right? And this question has been asked in UPSC CSAT 2021. Now you will have to learn a basic thing that whenever see they have earlier met at the club on Sunday. They have earlier met at the club on Sunday, and you have to answer that what will be the next day, what will be the that day when they met after 360 days. See, obviously we will learn a lot about calendar while dealing with the calendar chapter, but for now you should learn one thing, that if they are gonna meet after 360 days, and all of us know that there are 7 days in a week. There are 7 days in a week. Means you can say that if suppose if I am taking a simple example, if let us take that if 1st October, let us assume, see we are assuming that if 1st October is on Sunday, means 8th October will be Sunday, right? Why? 2nd October will be Monday, 3rd October will be Tuesday, 4th October will be Wednesday, right? Similarly 5th October will be Thursday, 6th October will be Saturday, right? Sorry, if 1st is Sunday, then obviously you can say 2nd is Monday, 3rd is Tuesday, 4th is Wednesday, 5th is Thursday, 6th is Saturday. Oh sorry, we are skipping Friday. 6th is Friday, 7th is Saturday, 7th October is Saturday, and 8th October is Sunday. So are you able to notice one pattern, that after 7 days the day has repeated itself? The day has repeated itself, right? The day has repeated itself. So what we will do? We will simply divide 360 by 7. We will simply divide 360 by 7. So 7 into 5 is 35, then 1 0. So 7 into 1 is 7. See, you will learn a lot about the questions of calendar in the calendar chapter, but for now you will have to remember that if they will meet after 360 days, you simply have to divide 360 by 7, and whatever is the remainder, you have to add that number of days in Sunday. So basically you have to add 3 days in Sunday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So what will be your answer? The answer will be Wednesday. The answer will be Wednesday. Option B is the correct answer. Again, you can notice that in CSAT 2021, this question should be counted as an easier question, right? Obviously, if you have solved two good questions, right? So hopefully you are able to understand that how can we solve this question. Now again, let us solve this question. The question says the HCF of two numbers is 8. Which one of the following can never be their LCM? Now try to recall that property. I have told you that LCM of two numbers, LCM of two numbers is always a multiple of HCF of those two numbers. So basically LCM should be the multiple of HCF. If the HCF is 8, what can be the LCM? Multiple of 8. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48 and so on, right? So the first option is 24. Yeah, 24 can be LCM. The reason is simple. 24 can be the LCM. 24 is a multiple of 8, right? But remember, you have to pick can never be. Means you can't pick 24 as your answer. Why? 24 can be. Let us look at option B. 48. 48 is a multiple of 8. Means 48 also can be the LCM. Means you can't pick 48. Let us look at option C is 56. 56 is also a multiple of 8. Right? Means 56 can be the LCM. Let us look at option D. 60 is not a multiple of 8. If you divide 60 by 8, you don't get remainder 0. You get remainder that is equal to 4. Means 60 can't be. 60 can't be the LCM of those two numbers. So option D is the correct answer. Option D is the correct answer, right? So remember this property. If you did this kind of questions, be happy. You can answer these questions quickly and correctly, right? Now we will solve one or two slightly difficult questions, but don't worry if you are not able to understand. We will just solve one or two questions to build some kind of foundations. Don't worry, there are very less chances that you will get this question. The HCF of two numbers is 33. For now, from now, remember that if I say that the HCF of two numbers is 33, means you can assume that those two numbers are 33x and 33y. If I say that HCF of two numbers is 33, right? What is the meaning of HCF? HCF is the largest number that can divide those numbers, right? So basically, if the HCF of two numbers is 33, means 33 is the largest number that can divide those numbers. Means that number is somehow, those numbers are somehow multiples of 33. So 33x and 33y, right? Now read the question and remember, and do note this line in your notebook. X and y can't have any factor, any xy. Okay, wait. The numbers are 33x and 33y, and remember the HCF of x and y should be equal to 1. Remember, but suppose if I say that the HCF of two numbers is 18, and if you assume the numbers are 18x and 18y, means the HCF of that x and y is 1. If the HCF of x and y is 2, then remember, then 18 can't be the HCF, then 36 will be the HCF. But the question says that 18 is the HCF. So in this question, if it is said that 33 is the HCF, so 33x and 33y, if you make the HCF of x and y as 2, means 2 can also divide this number, 2 can also divide, then 33 into 66 should be the HCF, but the 33 is the HCF. So you will have to ensure that X and Y can have only HCF 1. Okay, so read the question for now. The question says 33X plus 33Y is equal to 52. Read the question. The question says the HCF of two numbers is 33 and their sum is 5 to 8. How many such pairs exist? Right? So simple, 33x plus 33y equal to 5 to 8. So 33 into x plus y equal to 5 to 8. Again, we have taken the common, right? See, you can 5 plus 2, 7 plus 8 is 15. Means, and 33 is also divisible by 3, right? So 3 into 11 and 3 into 176. And if you divide further, 11 into 1 6, you can check 1 6, 11 into 11, 11 into 66 is 66. The remainder is 0, means you can write x plus y equal to 60. X plus y equal to 60, right? And if x plus y equal to 60, now tell me that what can be the values of x and y? Try to recall a question that we have solved together. That okay, if first number is 7 and the sum of the digits is 10 in a 3-digit number, try to recall that question. Means the sum of other 2 digits should be equal to 3. So we were assuming 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 0 is 3, 2 plus 1 is 3. We were assuming in that way, right? Try to recall that question. So basically x plus y is 16. So you can say 1 plus 15 is equal to 16. Now you can say that 2 plus 14 is 16. But wait, you have retained that. While assuming the numbers as 33x and 33y, you have assumed that x and y, the HCF of x and y is 1. In this case, the HCF of x and y is 1. The HCF of 1 and 15 is 1. But the HCF of 2 and 14, if you check the HCF of 2 and 14, and you have assumed that the value of x and y are 2 and 14, and the HCF of 2 and 14 are 2, means you can't accept this value. Then 3 plus 30. Yeah, 3 plus 13 is acceptable. The reason is simple. The reason is simple. Why? The HCF of 3 and 13 is 1. But if you accept 4 plus 12 as 16, no, you can't accept. Why? The HCF of 4 and 16 is 4. How can you accept? You can't accept. Right? Why? The HCF of x and y should be, the HCF of x and y should be 1. But in this case, that is not feasible. Now you can assume 5 plus 11 is equal to 16. And the HCF of 5 plus 11 is equal to 16. Right? Now let us deal with 6 plus 10 equal to 6. Now the HCF of 6 and 10 is 2. The HCF of 6 and 10 is 2. Means you can't accept. Why? Because the HCF of x and y should be 1. Right? Now can you write it as 7 plus 9 equal to 16? Yeah. The HCF of 7 and 9 are 16. Can you write it as 8 plus 8 is 16? Yeah, you can write it. But the HCF of 8 and 8 is 8. Right? The HCF of 8 and 8 is 8. So how can you accept? 8 plus 8, you can't accept. Now if you write 9 plus 7 as 16, so basically you are repeating 7 plus 9. So obviously you can't write. Right? Basically the values of x and y are repeating. If you write 9 plus 7, if you write 13 plus 3, you are repeating. Right? So basically how many values? 1 value, 2 value, 3 value, then 4 values. Right? If you write 10 plus 6, you are repeating. We have already dealt with 6 plus 10. So you can't write 10 plus 6, you can't write 13 plus 3. We have already dealt with those numbers, right? So the simple way, if I say that the HCF of two numbers is 33, means you can assume that 33x and 33y are the numbers. Then the sum has been given, so 528. 33x plus 33y is 528. Then you will simplify it. You find x plus y is 16, and you have assumed that 33x and 33y, that HCF of x and y should be 1 in any condition. But while taking the values, you observe that only 4 pairs, the 4 pairs of x and y, the 4 pairs of x and y exist. See, if you are getting confused, you can assume that what are those 4 pairs of those numbers. We have accepted x equal to 1, so one pair is 33 into 1 into 33 into 15, right? Another pair is 33 into 3 and 33 into 13, this one, right? Another pair is 33 into 5 and 33 into 11. Another pair is 33 into 7 and 33 into 9. These are the pairs. These are those 4 pairs of those two numbers. These are 4 pairs of those two numbers. These are the 4 pairs of those two numbers, right? And obviously, see, to answer this question, you have found that, okay, we can accept 4 values of x and y. Means basically 4 pairs of x and y, right? So we don't need to write this. We don't need to find these numbers separately. But we have found it. See, 33x, 33y. So basically we are putting the value of x and y. When x is 1, y is 15. So x is 1, y is 15, x is 3, y is 13, x is 5, y is 11, x is 7, y is 9. Right? But you don't have to find the proper values unless they ask you. Right? They are only asking you how many such pairs. So basically there are 4 pairs. So 4 pairs exist. Right? Okay, we will solve few more questions related to this concept. Then hopefully you will be able to learn. But don't worry if you are still not able to learn, because there is very less chances that you will get this kind of questions in exam. See, how will you solve this question? Again, the HCF of two numbers is 13. So 13x and 13y means the HCF of x and y is equal to 1, right? So 13x plus 13y equal to 2028. It has been given. Then you will write x plus y equal to 2028 by 13. Right? Similarly, now you can write it as 13 into 1. Let us divide it here. 13, 2028. 13 into 1, 72. Then 13 into 5, that is 7. Then 8, so that is 78. See, we are missing one thing, that we are getting 158. That is a larger number. There is some kind of mistake. Their product is 2028. Wait, their product is 2028. So means what? We have assumed that the numbers are 13x and 13y, and the HCF of x and y 1. So basically 13x into 13y equal to 208, right? So similarly if you proceed, okay, similarly if you proceed this question, you can solve it. So let it be the homework for you, that you will have to solve. You will have to find the values of x and y, right? Wait, okay. So simply 13x into 13y equal to 2028. Let us solve it together, because sometimes we don't solve the questions completely at home, right? So let us divide 2028 by 13. So 13 into 1, 72, 13 into 5, 78. So 13 into 6 is, right? So basically you can divide 13 into 156, right? Now 13 into 156, then again you can divide this number, that is equal to 12. See, 13 into 156 is 12, or you can divide it in this way, that x into y equal to 2028 divided by 13 into 13. So basically you will find x into y equal to 12, right? You can follow your own process to simplify it. So x into y equal to 12. So now try to think about x and y. One way is 1 and 12. See, 1 into 12 will give you the value that is equal to 12. And can you take 2 and 6? See, we know that 2 and 6, 2 into 6 is equal to 12. 2 into 6 is equal to 12, but the HCF of 2 and 6 is 2. But we can only take that pair, we can only take those values if we get the HCF is equal to 1. See, 1 and 12, the HCF is 1. If you find the HCF of 1 and 12, you will get HCF as 1. But if you find the HCF of 2 and 6, you will find HCF as 2. So you can't accept this value. Now 3 and 4. Yeah, 3 into 4 equal to 12. 3 into 4 equal to 12, and HCF of 3 and 4 is 1. Means you can accept this value. You can accept this value, right? And 1 into 12 is 12, 2 into 6 is 12, 3 into 4 is 12, and you can't find any pair anymore, right? So what will be the answer? The answer will be 2 pairs. The answer will be 2 pairs. But listen carefully, you don't have to worry if you are not able to solve. So what was the goal of bringing these questions? Such that you should have some ideas. See, sometimes what happens in quant, that even if you are not able to solve some difficult questions, you will learn a lot. Even after understanding 60, 70, 80% of that question. And maybe learning those things will help you in other chapters, in learning other concepts, right? So the simple approach, if you get this kind of questions, is 13x and 13y, then you can write product, then you can deal, you can assume, okay, 1 into 12 is 12, 2 into 6 is 12, 3 into 4 is 12. See, you can say that 4 and 3. No, even see, if you say me that why don't we take 4 and 3, the reason is simple. See, if you say that the value of x is 3 and the value of y is 4, and what are our values? See, 13x and 13y are our numbers, right? So if you put the value of x as 3, so 13 into 3 and 13 into 4, if you use this pair, so one pair is 39 and 52, and what is another pair? When the value of x is 1, so 13 into 1 comma 13 into 12, so 13 and 156. This is our another pair. This is our another pair, 13 and 156, and 39 and 52, right? 13 and 156 and 39 and 52. Even if you take the value of x as 4, you will write 13 into 4 and 13 into 3, 13x and 13y, 13x and 13y. See, you are repeating the values 42 and 39. We have already found 39 and 52. So why we can't repeat? We can't take again 12 and 1, because the values will repeat itself, right? So hopefully all of you learned something new in today's lecture, right? And don't worry, I have told you that if you are not able to understand last 2 questions, and if you are having fear that no, I am not able to learn, no, you are able to learn. You just have to keep some patience, right? Because if you put efforts for any subject for 2 months or 3 months regularly, trust me, you will be able to do well, right? You only need to put consistent efforts. Okay, then see you in next lecture.